Alright, we're back. So we need to figure out why the Done button isn't showing up on our menu view controller screen. Now let me go ahead and take a look at the WebViewDrawer and see where this Done button's getting added, and maybe this will provide some clarity. Where does it say Done? Dismiss button. Here. And the Done button does not appear to be anywhere on here. So let's figure that out. What's in the home view controller that's not in the menu view controller? Let's see what we're doing with this drawer. Looking for anything we might be doing in this drawer. Ultimately, we want to extract these. Navigation delegate, add a subview. And it's supposed to be 15 points down with a height of 30. And so this should appear below it. But we're not seeing that. See how we have that button there? Let's see what happens if I increase that, if I see any difference. See how much lower it is there? Oh yeah, look at that, it's going all the way up. So this thing, we see, whereas with this one, it goes up past the safety thing. So if I put this at 90 and then brought this down, what would happen? Brought my dismiss button down. Then there's more space up at the top here. I think it's because there's like this thing at the top on this one. It's not there for this. Yeah. How do we want to handle this? Because we want it to be visible here. Let's take a look at our main.storyboard real quick. It's because there's this navigation item where there's not a navigation item on the other screen. So let's do this. Get view controllers, navigation items, height. And I want to do specifically the past year. Whoa. This is not even vaguely helpful. So let's try this. $60. Let var navigation equals 0 if let self.controller.navigation item if let navbar equal, then navigation height equals navbar. Let's take a look at the example again. Navigation item. Maybe it has a frame, maybe it has a height. Doesn't want to autocomplete. iOS navigation item. There we go. See what attributes it's got on it. Doesn't seem to say. Well, how about this? For now. Navigation. Right. Why are you upset? Was navigation item not optional? I would think that that would be optional. And then let's do navigation height here too. Let's rerun this because we're not initializing conditional binding anymore. iOS. Determine if screen has a navigation item. Let's do this. The past year. Another option would be this. Adjust for navigation. Cool. True, false. And then we can just do, for now, adjust for navigation. There we go. And then we can say var navigation height equals 0. And then in the menu view controller, specifically we say adjust for navigation. True. And it's upset because this shouldn't be an issue if we haven't done anything to our operator precedence. Value of type. Does it have controller at this point? Yes, it does. I don't understand why this is suddenly an issue now and before it was fine. Like, why is this fine? That doesn't make sense. Is making that an integer fix it? Fine, let initial height so if we do that and then we call this initial height, then what? It's not happy. Oh, let initial height equal navigation height plus 60. What is happening? What is going on? Why is that fine and the other thing isn't? That doesn't make any sense. Let's take a look at this documentation. Oh, they want it to be a float. That should be fine, honestly. CG float. Float. Like that. I'm so annoyed. So that looks good. What drivel? I think actually the done needs to come down a little more. Don't you? Maybe just a little. I hate to do like weirdly divisible integers like that, but that looks fine. That's better. How annoying, honestly. Alright. Git status. Git add -u. Git commit -m. Adjust height of web view drawer according to whether its super view has a navigation bar at the top. Alright, there we go. So there's that. We also want to make, whoa. We also want this button to go all the way across. So we're going to do leading space to container, and I'm going to do trailing space to container. And I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to look at its constraints directly. Alright, let's see how that looks. Build failed. What now? Whose is this? So that one's right. What did I do? It was working a second ago. Why was this a problem before? Was this not a problem before? Have I just completely messed up my parenthesis math? What is going on? I'm gonna clean it. Build it again. Alright, let's take a look for real. Git status, git add -p web. Is that where this is? Where this thing is happening that we don't know what's happening? Yeah, it is. This. And I want to see what the hell is going on. This is exactly what it is. It's this required init. Okay, let me out. Where is the required init? Here it is. Alright. And that's how you bring a fire hose to a water gun fight, kids, but I'm out of patience. I'm out! Well, By the Book looks better now. Which I think is what we were trying to test when all this went so far south. Git add -u, git commit -m, make the By the Book button on the menu screen as wide as the stack. There. I swear! Alright, and we go to this. There's this button. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, children. We're going to do the same thing we just did on the menu view controller, except we're going to do it on this one, and hopefully it's all going to work fine. But based on our track record, based on my track record today, that's not going to be the case, but I could be wrong. Let's go to the main view controller and see if this has a, the main storyboard, and see if this has its own custom, view controller yet. This. So when I go to the identity inspector for this, it does not. So we're going to make one. Command N. And what is this? The by the book view controller? By the book view control. Actually, you know what? I want to use a Cocoa Touch class. Yeah. By the book view controller. It's going to be in Swift. Yes. Great. This can get out of my face. And now I'm going to go to main.storyboard. I'm going to open that up on the right. I'm going to come over to this. And I'm going to have it inherit from by the book view controller. Yes, I am. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to open. I'm going to take, well, not that view. This view. And I'm going to say by the book view. I'm going to connect it up. Now I'm going to get rid of this. All right, kids, moment of truth. Can we take the thing in the menu view controller and without fanfare, that's the key point that has been missing thus far in our machinations. There. All right, that's step one. Where's step two? This. Steel. Pasta. It's going to be mad. No, it's not going to be mad. All right, so could we theoretically not duplicate this method? Yes, but we'll come back to that. And by the way, this does need to adjust for navigation. Let's see how it does. Here. Boom. Buy the book. Boom. Buy the book. Buy it, people. I'm just kidding. You don't have to buy it. Great. So here's what I'm going to do is I am going to git status, git add these files, git commit, let's see, buy the book button on buy the book page navigates to web page to buy the book. Sometimes when you say a phrase over and over, it just sounds so weird. All right, so here's the next thing I want to do is I want to extricate some of these URLs. So here's what I'm going to do. Whoops. I'm going to hit Command N. I'm going to make a Swift file. I'm going to call it Web Destinations. It's going to be enum web destinations, and it's going to inherit from a string. And then enum inherits from string, example, iOS Swift. So the problem with writing like 3 or 4 languages in a given day is that sometimes you have to look up basic syntax in them, but it's fine. Okay, so we've got this enum. That's not really what I'm looking for. Let's do string enum iOS Swift. So the key with Googling stuff isn't even necessarily picking the right search term. In my experience, it is having an idea of what you're looking for so you can quickly sort through the answers and develop an intuition for what sounds correct and doesn't sound correct. We've talked about this a little bit on prior streams, but the search term, getting the right search term is great. More important, in my view, is having some understanding of how to navigate the results. So here's what I'm beginning to think we can do. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Case. What do we want to call Gaelic.co? Is that the home site? Homes. We'll call it homepage. We'll come back to that. Case. Book purchase page. All right, so we're also going to call this web destination singular. I want this. I'm going to back out to here. Whoa. Where's web destinations? Web destinations. This is why I need groups. Okay. Home. Okay, so that's great. And then I want also this one that I got here. Here we go. Yeah, there's too many like random strings flying around. I don't like them, and so now we're going to change them. Yeah, and so this is now going to be web destination dot. This needs to change. This name needs to change. Here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to actually put that back, and then I'm going to say refactor rename, and that's going to rename it for me. And it's going to take forever because for some reason the renaming animation has to load up in Xcode. I have no patience with Xcode at this point today. Boom. Thank you. There. All right. So now we're going back to the home view controller. Web destination, thank you. Dot complete for me, Xcode. Thank you. Homepage. Boom. 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 Here we go. Web. Now we're cooking with gas. Web destination dot book purchase page. Thank you. Now we're going to do the other one. What was the other one? Menu view controller. I'm not testing you. I don't remember. Oh, buy the book view controller. What is the problem? Because it needs its raw value. All right, same thing here. Web destin. What? How? What? I do not have the mental capacity for this right now. Web destination dot buy the book purchase page dot raw value. And you know who else is going to need raw value is if we go to the home view controller, this is also going to need raw value. All right, kids. There we go. Why are you upset? Oh, it's not a method. It's an attribute. Okay, in that case, there are two other places where we have to change this. Fix. Fix. That's fair. That was me. That wasn't Xcode. All right, let's make sure our thing still works. Yes. Boom. Okay, now theoretically, could I somehow make these two things call the same method? Yeah, theoretically I could. Not that worried about it right this second. We'll put it on the list of stuff to come back to. So here's what I'm going to do now. Git status, git add dash view, git commit, add web destination enum to keep track of important URLs without hard coding, strings in separate places. There we go. All right, so now the next thing that I actually want to do is put some of this stuff in its own groups. So I'm going to say Command N. I just want to group my files a little bit because it's very difficult right now to find them, and I'm getting frustrated. So I'm going to say new group, and it's going to be, oh. So we have a couple options here. We need to, why is it named this? So we need to decide there we go. Do we want to separate this stuff by domain, or do we want to separate this stuff by function? So in other words, do we want groups that are like models, view controllers, presenters, that kind of thing? Or do we want to separate our stuff by like book purchases, translations, blah, blah, blah. So here's my view on this, is that we can start with grouping by functions, and then when we have a better idea of how to delineate our domains appropriately, then we can switch to domain if we want to. But for now, I'm going to do view controllers there. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move every view controller into view controllers. Like so. Now I'm going to come up here. I'm going to say File, New Group. I'm going to make another one, and I'm going to call it Services, because we're going to ultimately be getting a lot of stuff from like external URLs. I'm going to put web destinations in there. I don't know if that's where it belongs, to be honest with you. I also feel like blog post kind of goes with blog post service, so I kind of want to rename this web resources. I don't know if I'm going to leave it that name. And then for consistency, let's do File, New Group, Standalone Views. And we're going to put, where did our precious WebViewDrawer go? Put her in there. So now everything that like doesn't come standard is in these. Why is she? What? All right. Let's run it, make sure everything works with our new groups. Boom, 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 boom. Cool. So let's do git status, git add -u, git commit -m, organize files into groups. Yeah, all our renames. I'm going to go ahead and push this up so that it's somewhere, just in case. Cool. All right, so we got some stuff done today. We learned some wrestling with Xcode tricks. We learned some messing with Git tricks. We extracted a common view and used it in several places. Made a couple of other extraction decisions. There is one more thing that I'd like to fix before we sign off for today, which is that I want these to have like a good, I want them to have a spinner, if possible, particularly this one. And so here's what I want to do. Is I want to go to WebViewDrawer. And I want to find out if you can tell when a web view has stopped loading. Swift. Know when a web view has stopped loading. This is mega old. We are not going to be using this answer. Swift identify. Stop loading. Directly with functions on the web view such as load, estimated progress, is loading, and has only secure content. The state of the web page is loading. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So I guess we could use that. Ideally, there's a callback if when it isn't loading. Know when web view stops loading. I have an idea for how we could use is loading, but I would prefer and this was in March. So you can use UI WebView delegate. So maybe we need to use that. Is that a real thing? Okay, fine. How come it's not? Do I need to be importing something? I'm not sure. Trunk web view did. All right, let's go over here. Get our thing back that we had. See if that works. But how would it know which web view I wanted to check on? I feel like it wouldn't. Let's see if I'm wrong about that. Ready? Yeah, this doesn't work. How would it? It doesn't know which web view to check on. So let's do this. Example. I would like it to be within the last year. Finish. There's WebView did finish. But it looks like this has to be on the navigation delegate. All right, I think what we're actually going to do is we're going to leave this for a separate stream and come back to it so we have something exciting to pick up next time. All right, I'll see you folks later.